Zhao Zhuo nervously looks behind him and questions Tu Ye about whether he saved his life. Instead of answering directly, Tu Ye suddenly grabs Zhao Zhuo's face, his eyes gleaming sinisterly as he turns Zhao Zhuo's head and orders him to take a look. When Zhao Zhuo responds that there is nothing at all, Tu Ye reveals that 80,000 soldiers from the Northern Army are coming to take Zhao Zhuo down, then imitates their chant, declaring that they will purge the court and execute Zhao Zhuo. The warning leaves Zhao Zhuo extremely alarmed, and he wonders if he has played himself straight into a death trap. Meanwhile, Tu Ye begins cutting through Yuan Tianshu's restraints, remarking that at such a critical moment, Zhao Zhuo has already lost the loyalty of the soldiers from the Longxiang camp, making his knack for courting death truly unparalleled. If he had not arrived in time, Zhao Zhuo really would have been beyond saving. Zhao Zhuo refuses to accept it, repeatedly insisting that there is no way and that it is impossible. Then, as Tu Ye cuts through Yuan Tianshu's restraints, the bindings give way with a sharp crack. Suddenly, Zhao Zhuo starts laughing, leaving Tu Ye puzzled. Zhao Zhuo declares that he finally gets it and nearly fell for Tu Ye's trick, doubting that Tu Ye would really be kind enough to save him. He concludes that Tu Ye must have escaped from Tianjing after it was breached, which explains why he is here. Tu Ye is disgusted by what Zhao Zhuo claims, while Yuan Tianshu is left speechless. Still convinced, Zhao Zhuo remarks that Tu Ye made everything sound extremely convincing, but if there really is going to be an execution, Tu Su would have to kill Tu Ye first. Tu Ye is caught off guard as Zhao Zhuo suddenly swings at him, but before he can continue, Yuan Hu, the Longxiang guard inside the tent, tackles Zhao Zhuo. Yuan Tianshu screams Yuan Hu's name, but Yuan Hu does not listen and continues restraining Zhao Zhuo. Zhao Zhuo warns that Yuan Hu is seeking death. A moment later, Tu Ye is horrified as Yuan Hu's blood splatters everywhere. Yuan Hu collapses to the ground, blood spurting from his wound and mouth as tears trickle from his eyes, and he takes his final breath. Zhao Zhuo then points his sword at Tu Ye, but Tu Ye is so focused on Yuan Hu that he fails to notice. With Tu Ye at sword point, Zhao Zhuo orders him to obey and behave, promising that once they leave the camp, he will hand Tu Ye over to the new emperor. Not only will his own life be spared, but doing so will also become a great achievement. Tu Ye lashes out at Zhao Zhuo as Yuan Hu's bloody body remains fixed in his mind. Zhao Zhuo challenges what Tu Ye can possibly do to him now, mocking how Tu Ye keeps calling himself the emperor despite currently being at his mercy. Once he hands Tu Ye over to the new emperor, he intends to personally deal with each and every one of his people. However, Zhao Zhuo remains oblivious to the dark, seething anger radiating from Tu Ye. He continues that everyone in the court who has thwarted his plans, including Tu Ye's concubines, will die, though Tu Ye should not worry too much. Zhao Zhuo explains that the concubines are nothing more than tools selected to get close to Tu Ye, especially Zhao Shu, whom he calls second-hand goods after sending her to countless men long ago. In his view, once a tool goes against its master's will, it loses all value, leaving only one possible outcome. Meanwhile, Tu Ye's dark aura screams for destruction and obliteration as Tu Ye repeatedly calls Zhao Zhuo's name, his tone carrying both amusement and resentment. Only then does Zhao Zhuo finally notice what Tu Ye looks like at that moment, leaving him stunned before Tu Ye suddenly punches him across the face. The blow is so powerful that Zhao Zhuo is sent backward with blood flying through the air, and as blood pours from both his nose and mouth, he can only stare in confusion. Tu Ye condemns Zhao Zhuo as a cruel 50 pig, declaring that everything he says and does is cruel, and his rage grows so intense that veins start popping out across his face as he calls Zhao Zhuo's name again. Zhao Zhuo is still completely out of it and cannot utter a single word. At that point, Tu Ye curses and declares that he no longer cares about the transmigration, the mission, or even the system. Then, Tu Ye's kick breaks his egg, sending Zhao Zhuo into overwhelming pain as he wails and rolls across the ground, his eyes bulging out of their sockets. Tu Ye demands to know what Zhao Zhuo claimed earlier, then throws those same words back at him, repeating that tools that do not align with their master's will should be destroyed. Tu Ye explains that he is so afraid of leaving behind offspring that could prevent the kingdom's downfall that he has to rely on fitness training every day just to practice restraint, then drives another punch into Zhao Zhuo. He continues that he once went 3 days without sleep just to draw costume designs for cosplay, and even forced himself to learn the language of that world, making it clear that Zhao Zhuo has no right to call someone like him useless. With that, another vicious punch sends Zhao Zhuo flying straight out of the tent. Zhao Zhuo cries out as he crashes onto the ground, completely confused by what Tuye is even talking about. But when he looks to the side, he freezes after seeing the Longxiang guards simply standing beside him. He demands to know why they are still doing nothing and orders them to protect him. Yet the Longxiang guards only look away. Then, Tuye walks out of the tent. The moment he appears, the Longxiang guards immediately stand at attention and create a path for him, leaving Zhao Zhuo speechless. Tuye's eyes are filled with intense rage, and his presence looks so menacing that Zhao Zhuo starts trembling. He hurriedly admits that he was wrong and already knows his mistake. Tuye presses him to confirm it, and Zhao Zhuo confesses that he should not have led the troops on his own. However, he is startled when Tuye suddenly grabs his head, and he quickly wonders if his real mistake was avoiding battle before admitting once again that he was wrong. Tuye begins speaking, but Zhao Zhuo remains dazed, barely seeming to understand what he is hearing, while the Longxiang guards silently listen as well. Tuye explains that wealth, power, the army, and even the throne mean nothing to him. Tears begin falling down Zhao Zhuo's face as he listens intently, and Tuye continues that the only thing he truly cares about is the people he trusted, yet every one of them betrayed him. Zhao Zhuo is baffled by the mention of trust and betrayal, but Tuye suddenly orders him to say it out loud. By now, the Longxiang guards have gathered around both of them, listening solemnly as Zhao Zhu struggles to understand whether he truly betrayed him. Tuye demands that he speak louder because he cannot hear him. More tears run down Zhao Zhu's swollen cheeks before he finally shouts that he betrayed the emperor, the late emperor, and the Qian dynasty. He confesses that he betrayed the people of Qian and plunged them into suffering, causing the Longxiang guards to look at him with open repulsion. Zhao Zhuo declares that he is a sinner of the Qian dynasty, repeats that he is a sinner, then bows his head to the ground and apologizes again and again. Tuye can only release an exasperated sigh. Tuye admits that he is exhausted, while Zhao Zhuo repeatedly declares that he is guilty. However, in the next moment, he suddenly doubts whether that is even possible, and Tuye immediately notices the shift in his behavior. Without warning, Zhao Zhuo lunges at Tuye and declares that he should die. Blood spills, but it is not Tuye's, because Zhao Zhuo misses his attack. Before he can continue, Lord Xiao strikes Zhao Zhuo from behind with enough force to make him cough up blood. Tuye merely scoffs and remarks that Lord Xiao has finally made her move. Lord Xiao is stunned, wondering whether Tuye knew all along that she had been hiding among the army. When she looks up, she meets Tuye's intimidating and hostile stare. At the same time, the system reveals Lord Xiao's details to Tuye, showing that her current allegiance wavers between Tu Su and Tuye. Meanwhile, Lord Xiao continues wondering whether Tuye already knew she was there from the very beginning. Zhao Zhuo then collapses face first onto the ground. Lord Xiao explains that Zhao Zhuo is not dead, only unconscious. Before wondering what Tuye plans to do with him, Tuye questions what he should do. Falling into a daze as he looks at Zhao Zhuo's body, he gives the matter some thought and reflects that he has always placed his hopes on people like Zhao Zhuo. He concludes that this approach is wrong, and it is finally time to take control into his own hands. Tuye then declares that Zhao Zhuo's life is now at Longxiang's disposal, since he no longer knows how to make use of him. The system immediately notifies Tuye that he has eliminated the key figure, Zhao Zhuo, increasing his national power points by 5,000. On the other hand, Lord Xiao reflects that Tuye came here alone, subdued Zhao Zhuo, regained military power, and prevented a civil war within the Qian dynasty. Because of this, she cannot help wondering what exactly Tuye is. A few moments later, the Zhenbei army arrives. Wang Zhan warns that Zhao Zhuo's army is ahead and orders everyone to prepare their formation. But one of the soldiers suddenly urges her to look quickly. Wang Zhan immediately follows the direction the soldier is pointing, and his eyes widen at the sight before him. Zhao Zhuo's body is hanging in front of the Longxiang camp, lifeless on a flagpole, with his tongue hanging out and drool running from his mouth.